Absolutely. My name is Bryce Bozardet. Um, I'm the father of two girls, 11 and 9, and they certainly keep me busy. Um, I was married to my wife for 17 years and then with her for another 3 years. So being being a single dad is not what I envisioned in my life. I never planned on it. Um, but you get lemons thrown at you and you got to make something with it,
There you
right?
go. There you go.
So yeah, so single dad. I've run my own business. When I'm not with them, I'm working a lot, and then trying to get my dating world in line in between all of that, which is
My word.
just
You
turned
have.
50. So I'm a single dad dating at 50.
Oh my god! But the thing about it is, though, dude, you're a catch though. So it's like let's let's call it what it is. You got your stuff together. You got you're attractive guy. Obviously, we met from the industry, so we literally met on set.
I know, and I felt so bad for you that day. You were like, you had so many
Oh,
lines. I was
don't
like,
say
oh,
that.
I was sweating for you, man.
That was a day, man. That was a
I hate
day.
those gigs where they drop all these lines on you and you have to memorize them, and every word counts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, especially for that, I think was it 2 weeks? I think we had, or maybe it was a week. I don't even remember how long I had that script or those scripts were before we had to jump in. But
Well,
yeah,
you had the main part. I just had a little Dave bit part. So
yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Oh man. So tell me, what do you? I mean, your dad. You're like me. You're a girl dad.
mhm.
What's your favorite part about being a dad?
Wow, there's a lot of responsibility. And you know what? As they grew up, I've been divorced for 4 years now, and so they were coming up with it. But I had uh, a realization in my life. I'm like, you know what? I'm not young anymore. I've been around the block,
Mhm.
and I was watching something. I can't remember what it was, but it said the first one to heal or the first one to forgive is the first one to heal.
Ooh,
And
that's
so I took that to heart, and I said, you know what? I'm not perfect. She's not perfect.
yeah,
It didn't work out for one reason or another. But you know what? I'm going to be the one to heal. I'm going to make this right for my girls. And
nice.
so that was my concentration, and it's hard, man. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. But it's a daily process. But right now it really freaks people out as to how well I get along with my ex.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we'll go to parties with the same friends, and they're like,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
"She's here. What do you think?" I'm like, "Oh, she's
Hilarious.
here." I'm like,
Yeah,
"I hope she's having fun. Let's have fun." They're
yeah.
like, "No, it doesn't bother you," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Nope."
Yeah. It's for the benefit of your
Oh,
kids at the end of the day. You guys getting along
yeah.
really only benefits your kid. I mean, you obviously you go through a phase where you realize, okay, this isn't gonna work. We're better apart than we are together.
Mhm.
Are you gonna stay in this like bubble where you're like, holding on to these feelings, or are you going to get to a point where it's like, okay, there's something bigger than me out there, and even though they're technically smaller than me, they're way bigger than me at this point, so
Right.
let me put my stuff aside and do what's best for the kiddos and just interact and be good, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, we came from a high-profile relationship. I mean,
Okay.
real estate and development in Grand Rapids, and I'm on my 25th year of real estate and know a lot of people. She's got her own television show here in Grand Rapids.
Oh,
She's been
nice.
voted the
Okay.
top personality or whatever. So everyone knows who we are,
Yeah, yeah,
and it just makes it makes it awkward for people, but
yeah.
it's not awkward for us anymore. We dealt with it.
Right,
It's good.
right.
She talks about her relationships with me. I talk about my relationships with her.
Yeah,
It's like, hey,
yeah.
we're in this life together because of these girls, and dang it, we're going to get along.
Right, right.
Maybe when the girls are away, we won't get along, but when they're together with us, we will get along,
There you
whether
go.
you know
A hundred
whether we
percent.
like it or not. So
And that's what's most important. I mean, at the end of the day, what else could be more important? So let me ask you right now, as a father of two girls,
Mhm.
And obviously there's certain things that come into play, and it's different for everybody, but there is the stigma of, as a man, you're supposed to be tough, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be this rock, you're really not supposed to have any feelings. Obviously, as you get older, you learn, realistically speaking, the strongest thing you can do is to have feelings, because the ability to function with those feelings versus running away from them and trying to be tough is actually growth, right?
Mhm.
So when you have girls as daughters, because you get a boy as a daughter, and for the most part, it's like, yeah, brush it off, put some dirt on it, blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't necessarily get that. You feel the love, you feel the nurturing for your son, I'm sure. I mean, obviously I don't have a son, so I wouldn't know, but a daughter, you get that next level, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, she's sensitive, she cries for this, and this, what I just said hurt her how do you feel like you got to the point where you were able to really navigate that terrain between being a manly man, if you will, and being gentle enough for your daughters?
Yeah. Well, when I first got divorced, it was still, pink, purple, and princess, toys and, all that. And
Yeah.
I literally, I have no interest in doing any of that stuff. And it was just like, I was getting into like, okay, start a project and I'm just going to do something else. And then it came to a point where about mindfulness. And I've been studying Kobe Bryant's 10 Secrets to Success.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think, what is it? Number 7 is be mindful. And what that means is be present, be in the situation, because we're always thinking about so many different things, and just say, here's your iPad, go get lost, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't work with girls.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they'll do it, but it doesn't work with them. And so, basically, especially through COVID, I've had them so much at home and in homeschooling, and I just had to be creative.
Yeah.
Like, started Googling stuff. Just like, what can you do with, girls that's fun, and, just going on these sites, and, so we do a lot of things.
Yep.
I mean, whether it's home science projects or home art projects, I'll show you this. We did a mini science project. They're like, Papa, what if we put that onion in water? What would it do?
That's cool. Nice.
So we're looking at this onion and we put it in water, and now it's growing into something else. And it's a teaching session.
Yeah.
It's just, it can be something very simple, but if I'm excited about it and it's, they're all into it, they want to do it, so, I mean, it's just simple things like that I've done. And it's a lot of work. It's work to commit to it. It's work to, to do that. But the biggest thing for me is being mindful when I'm doing it, investing them, because I only have so many years with them.
That's the truth.
We sit here every day and we're like, you know what? I got the future. The future's all there for me. Heck no. You don't have the future, and anything can happen.
Yeah.
And so, the biggest thing that we can do is, show them affection, love, the true love.
Yeah.
Because I've always said, I'm not going to have some 14-year-old boy teach my girl about love. Oh, heck no.
Oh.
No. I'm not going to have a 14-year-old boy go, oh, you've never snowmobile? You never shot a gun? You never done that? Oh, come on, I'll show you. No. So I try to keep my girls, rounded, just to do things. Sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't, but at least they can say, yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's one of the biggest things you can do, is just, first of all, give your kids experiences if you can, obviously within your means, but then also just do things with them so they can say, yeah, I've done that. The world's not this new big surprise to them. And to what you just said, no boy is going to walk up and be like, oh, you've never blah, blah, blah. Actually, my dad took me when I was, you have that, right? Because Jesus. I'm not even, yeah.
That stuff terrifies me. It's just like, because I know what I was like as a boy, and man, I was a wild child, last of 6 kids. I was just like, here's the world. Let me try to
Uh-huh.
mess it up in some way, you know. It's oh, it was, but hopefully the values that I instill in them, they'll be able to repel guys like me.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I'm
No,
on board.
I get that all the time.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, you have two girls? There's karma for you." And I'm like, I
Oh my
know,
God.
I know.
I know. We're in the same boat. I got two girls, so you know we're in the same boat. I feel you there, man. That is a scary, scary thought. And you're really never gonna be all the way prepared. You're gonna have to get to the point one day where you have to address your daughter's broken heart. I mean, it's gonna happen, and it's terrifying. But as a dad, as a present, mindful dad, I mean, obviously, right now the biggest thing is to make sure that you are putting as much work as you can put in. As you said for the, what you were talking about earlier. Oh, we have the future. Yeah, but let's start early. Let's put the time and the energy and the
Yeah,
effort in now, so that when they get to they get to the point where they're like, oh, I just want to do my own thing and blah, 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 blah. The lessons are already there.
right.
The ground blocks are there. So when this does come up, hopefully, you just hope that it worked out. So let me ask you, where do you feel like you got your lessons from? What was your childhood like? What was your relationship with your parents like? How did they influence the man that you are today to your children?
Well, I grew up the last of six kids.
Mhm.
My parents both worked at Amway. They worked there for 35, 40 years. They retired there. Um, so they really didn't have much time for me. As long as I wasn't dead, they were okay with it. So I never had a curfew. I never had, you know, things I had to do. I had brothers and sisters watching over me, and my brothers just wanted any reason to beat me up, right? Like, go ahead and step out of line, please, because I would,
Oh no. Oh,
and my brothers were, beating up other kids in the neighborhood, and then, when I would walk to school, all these kids are like, "Oh yeah, your brothers beat us up. We're gonna beat you up," So it's like you had to
easy.
learn to, fight to get to school, and that's just basically, my upbringing. But I was a wayward child because of it, because
Yeah.
I mean, never having a curfew really until till I put it on myself. but but yeah, it was an interesting way to grow up. But I went to Young Life and Fellowship Christian Athletes, and my
Oh,
sister
nice.
she was a cheerleader at Central Michigan University, and she invited me to an event up there, and I met all the athletes, and and that's when I accepted the Lord then. And that was, gosh, that was maybe eighth grade.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what, that's a pivotal time. You go from eighth grade to freshman in high school.
Yeah. 100%.
You jump into high school and it is a different world. And so I was like, I'm on it. I'm ready to go and clean up my life. I had this long hair, earring, and
Oh, 9 yards.
my brother went to Michigan State, and I was like, you know what? I'm looking for a new look. He goes, thank God. I'm like, yeah. So what's the new style? He goes, flat top, really high though.
Oh, sure.
What did I do? I went with my long hair and I went into the barber shop and I said, I want a flat top, but I want you to make it really high. And the barber looked at me. He's an old dude. He's like, I just died and went to heaven. I can't wait. And so he went in like Edward Scissorhands on me. It's like,
Oh my God.
but yeah, and then I got really into athletics in high school, and played basketball in college. Went to college to be a pastor,
Oh wow.
pastoral
Okay.
ministries. So
Very, very nice.
graduated in '93 and came back.
Wow. Oh wow. So in this time, what kind of connection do you feel like you had with your dad? I mean, I know you said that they're busy and they're probably working a lot. What do you feel like, what kind of lessons do you feel like you got from him, that helped to mold you into who you are?
Well, I never really connected with my dad until his last couple years of life,
Okay.
because I really I really made an effort towards it. I guess I wasn't living present with him. I didn't, we just didn't get along. I didn't like what he was doing. I just,
Mm,
we just didn't gel that way.
yeah.
Um, and it was like two ships in the night. But in his last few years, he died, gosh, 4 years ago now. And he died of cancer. And but before that, when he got diagnosed, I said, you know what, I'm gonna spend some more time with you. So I was working on a project in Manistee. I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm gonna go pick you up at home, and why don't you spend the day with me? We'll go to Manistee. I'll go to a meeting. You can come with me. We'll go
Yeah.
get lunch, whatever. So we
Yeah.
had the opportunity to talk, and that's where I learned the most about my dad. And I wish I could have gotten it on video, but it was kind of unexpected, and it was, I wasn't prepared for what I was about to hear
Wow.
about his life and growing up.
Yeah.
Um, but I learned more about him in those last couple of years than I did my whole life.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, you assume, right? You think you know their experiences. You have a general idea, or at least the basic memories of how you saw him growing up, and you
Yep.
go off of that and go, okay, all right, Dad, I see you, Dad. And then you actually have a chance to sit down and have a conversation and go, oh wow, so oh, she broke your heart when you were 16. Oh my gosh, then what?
Right.
Like
Well,
so do you feel like your dad's experience, I mean, obviously, you said early on you didn't have the biggest connection. Do you think, based off of what you know now, do you feel like that was a major part of what caused the disconnect, or was there something else, or did you have your own thing?
no, I think he, I don't think he knew how to emotionally bond with us as kids because of his upbringing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He came from a large family, you know, just long story, but they didn't really bond that well with their dad. And then, of course, he went out. He went off to the war. He went to the Korean War. He met
Oh,
my mom before that. Went off to the Korean War, came back, and he was living in San Diego at the base there. And he was renting a house on the ocean in La Jolla, California, for like $100 a month.
oh my gosh.
And he told me the guy that owned it said, "Hey, I have to sell it. Do you want to buy it?" And he's like, "How much?" He's like, $30,000. He goes, "I don't have $30,000." So what he did was he hitchhiked from La Jolla, California to Las Vegas, sat at the blackjack table with a couple $100, made enough money to buy a car in Las Vegas and drive to Grand Rapids to see my mom. And that's what I learned from my last, days with him. That's what I learned. I'm like, oh my God, that is just amazing. I can't, and this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think, wasn't a traditional, I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't involved. He'd go to all my games and, all that growing up.
Right.
But yeah, it just wasn't, I don't know. But I think going through the whole thing, it made me a better dad to my girls, because now I know what it's like to go through that.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to pivot, adjust, and really spend time with my girls and get to know them. And that's a tough thing with today's, with all the technology and all that. I could tell you horror stories.
Yeah, dude, it's all about.
Maybe you want to hear them. That's good.
Yeah, dude, I get it. That's terrifying to me. I mean, it's all about the screens and getting the likes and which is why I personally I work so hard to make sure that the level of likes that you're gonna get in this house, I'm gonna outdo Facebook when it comes to that kind of, right. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I like your shirt. Oh, I like your shoes. I like your shoelaces.
Right.
Like, because you want to make sure that, at least personally, I should say, I want to make sure that I leave this impression on my children where they go, you know, obviously dad was a dad and he didn't really connect with us on the deepest of levels in that way, because grown-ups are grown-ups, kids are kids, but he was always present, he was always trying, and he was always making sure that he was gonna be available
Hmm.
for whatever the situation may be. And with those kinds of situations, you think to yourself, am I doing the best job that I can do? Right? I mean, I feel like it's just a I feel like that's a want for every parent, not even just a dad, every parent.
Right.
And in the end, what you're hoping for is good kids, good human beings. So, what do you think has been the most rewarding thing you saw or you've experienced with your girls? Like from, maybe it's something as simple as they clean their room, like they finally got it. They clean their room like you asked them to. Like, what is the most rewarding thing you've gotten or experienced with your girls?
Well, my two girls are polar opposites. I mean,
Mm,
one is totally different than the other. So it's got to be a sliding scale. It can't be just like, this is it.
fair
Uh,
enough.
but I think with my girls, I, they do make mistakes,
Yeah.
but as long as, I'm talking to them about their mistakes and having that open dialogue with them, it makes it a lot better. I mean, I don't have all the answers in the world, but I can sit there and talk with them and tell them that, hey, here's the number one rule. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, if you need me, call me. I will come get you. I won't ask any questions.
Hmm.
If you don't want to tell me, you don't have to.
Yeah.
I will get you home safely.
Yeah.
That's the number one rule.
Yeah.
But make good decisions, but there's sometimes you're going to make bad decisions.
Yeah.
I just want it to be an open dialogue.
Yeah.
And if you're honest with me, it's going to be a lot better than if you try to hide it and be dishonest. Because there's no reason to hide it.
Right.
No reason.
Right. As their dad, you accept him. I will always accept you as my child. Nothing
Right.
else. Take it on.
We had an experience through social media, and all my oldest daughter's friends are now getting their new phones. They're all on the social media. It's all new for them. They don't know the rules. They don't know that if you post something, it'll stay there forever, or if you're, they don't know that. But my daughter was with some friends at a sleepover, and their friends, which are boys, were at another sleepover, and so they weren't being supervised.
Yeah.
So the boys sent a dick pic to them,
Jesus Christ. I can't even.
and we're talking sixth grade. Sixth grade.
God. What?
Yeah. So
Yo.
I didn't
Oh
find
my
this.
God.
I didn't find this out right away, but my ex-wife and I, we sat down with her, and we, she was going through some problems with some friends. They were like in a verbal, like, whatever they do, that I hate her now and whatever. And we're like, no, you don't hate people. You get over it. You need friends. And she got in a little trouble there by, doing some things. But,
Yeah.
we also said, if there's anything else we need to know, you need to tell us now,
Yeah.
because we probably know it.
Jeez.
And she said, and I'll change the name. Well, David sent me a dick pic. And we're like,
Oh my God.
who? And she told me. And I've been playing basketball with his dad for like 20 years. Yeah.
Dude.
Hey. He goes,
Dude.
I know exactly why you're calling right now. And his wife was crying. And he goes, I'm gonna put you on speakerphone. They're like, we are mortified. We just found out. We're trying to work through this.
Wow, dude.
So we said, okay, all the girls at the party and their parents and all the boys and their parents, we're gonna have a meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Heck
At the
yeah.
house. Everyone was there. The boys sat there like it was a court of law, and we gave them an opportunity to speak, and they stepped up. They really
Okay.
apologized, and I was like, guys, I want to be mad at you, but I've done stupid things. We've all done stupid things, but you just have to learn from it.
Yeah.
And it's not appropriate, and you're probably learning, the laws of social media now, to where,
Huh?
it was quite the meeting.
Yeah. I bet.
But
I bet.
ever since then, my daughter has been very careful. She's
Yeah.
like, if someone's talking about swear words or anything like that, she goes, I get off right away. I tell them, no, we're not going to talk about this, and I get off right away because she knows, she was disciplined pretty difficultly on that. Um, so yeah, it's like, that's a tough thing. I don't,
It is, man. I can't even imagine. Like oh my gosh. Like I don't know how I would even react to that.
yeah, I mean, you don't know until you're going through it.
Yeah, yeah.
The biggest thing is to keep your head, just you got to look at it for what it is. I mean, I'm still battling with things. What if my daughter in 3 or 4 years says I have a boyfriend and I want to have sex with him?
Oh.
Comes to me and says that. I mean, how do you deal with that? Or, hey, my friends want to come over and we want to drink. Can we drink at your house?
Oh,
how do you deal with that?
yeah.
It's just like, do you want them going somewhere else, like in a field somewhere and drinking, and then another school are coming and you don't know who they are and what? So there's a lot, I'm on this daily journey.
Yeah.
And I'm crawling through it. And it feels like it's on like broken glass. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, man.
It's ridiculous.
And it's so wild because even the smallest things can become the most intense moments when you're dealing with kids. Because to us, we've lived it, we've done it, we know what it's like. That's old news.
Right.
Them, to use the example of the responsibility of the phones, they're just learning this now. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like, how do you as somebody who's conscious, because that's what it is. I think that's the biggest part. You have to be really self-aware. You can't sit here and go, hey, you don't get to go do this, as if you weren't just doing this a few years ago. Like, what you did. And for the most part, I think we all know, for anyone, boys, girls, this used to be an old thing they used to say back in the day when I was growing up. I don't know if they still say it, but the girls who were coddled, sheltered, like they're not allowed to go anywhere, they're going to be wild. You used to hear it all the time growing up. You can't do that to a person. You can't cut them off from everything and then think the second that they're allowed to be out by themselves, they're going to be out. You got to allow them to experience life a little bit. So in I guess in the line of that, what would be, I mean, geez, that moment there was just now was intense, but what would be your biggest fear?
It's terrible as father of girls. It's like, oh.
Yeah, man. I can't even imagine. So what do you think would be your biggest fear for your children?
For my children?
Yeah, in the world that we're in right now. Like, what do you...
Wow, that's a good one. I think, I think we're raising our girls to be strong.
Yeah.
But it's now a different world than we were when we were kids. Like when, I would, in kindergarten, I would walk to school, like 10 blocks to school.
That's true. I feel you there. Yeah.
Would I send my girl in kindergarten 10? Oh, heck no.
No.
I'm going to drop her off at school and I'm going to watch her walk through that door before I pull out my car.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but it's, that's my fear. My fear is the unknown, the crazy people out there that just, and especially with, with social media, it's just, just people just freak me out.
Yeah.
They freak me out.
That's a fair thing, man. That is a fair thing to say. I think that the world that we live in right now is so unpredictable. It's gotten so much crazier, and maybe, speaking, obviously, it feels like it's gotten so much crazier that the things that for the most part used to be a TV thing in my mind seem more of the norm nowadays. Like it blows my mind. And so yeah, I'm with you there, man. I don't even know what I would do. I know what I would do, but I don't think I should say it because I would tear shit up. I think I would tear stuff down, man. It would, yeah.
Like Rambo Last Blood.
Yeah, like legit, legit. And boy, do I have the arsenal to do it. I would go in, man. Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, those are big things for me. But you know, I just want my girls to be them, to be comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
Because I know, you know, growing up, I didn't really have anyone saying, hey, you know, Bryce, you're this, you're that, you're strong, you're capable. You know, do you have anything to talk about? Do you want to, let's team up together. You know, I never had that.
Yeah.
But with my girls, I'm like, you know, my oldest daughter's in volleyball and she's on the MVA black team, which she made it, and she's the youngest one on there. But
yeah,
she's, you know, got natural talent. And, you know, just being in middle school, some of her friends don't play.
right.
And so she doesn't want to, she's like, oh, I just hate volleyball. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
the best one on the court. I mean, you can serve an ace every single time. They can't even return it. I mean, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
embrace it. This is what it is. And, you know, I just keep encouraging her.
Yeah.
Do that, even though it's difficult, even though she feels like it might be boring or whatever. You know, she just hasn't turned the corner on that. But I think with, you know, my years of athletic experience, I've gone through the same thing, so I can talk her through that. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's hard, it's difficult.
Yeah.
You know, but you're looking at a scholarship if you play it right.
That part.
And that's big.
Yeah.
That's
and I think that's an awesome thing, especially for dads, for parents, right? Like a lot of parents, not to sound old, but like in the 21st century, right? Like I feel like a great deal of them, myself, you get to a point, like for what you just said earlier, I only became self-aware last year. And when I say self-aware, I mean like to the point where like full self-confidence, like to finally accepting me 100% for who I am. That happened last year for me at 30 something, 2, I think I am. Right? Like I don't think that my parents had the time or the ability or whatever that it was. They didn't have the opportunity to instill that in me.
right.
And it may be that they didn't even have it themselves. It wasn't instilled in them from the previous generation. And so now I look at that and I go, okay, the one thing my daughters will have, because I can't affect what's going to happen to them when they go out of this house, but I can affect what's going on in their mind in here. So the one thing they're going to have is confidence out the wazoo. They're going to have know-how. They're going to have street smarts, making sure that they understand, hey, that's a trap.
Right.
Like that right there is called clickbait. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Like just giving them the lessons that they need. And then at that point, all you really can do as a parent is let them go and hope that they use the lessons that they got to be, you know, strong, beautiful young ladies as they're going to be. It's terrifying, dude. It's like, it's scary. So let me ask you this. You've clearly, I've done it. I've had a bunch of experiences that I would, one day I'll talk to my girls about them, but what's something that you did, or you can think back to your childhood that you did that you would never want your kid to do today?
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Here it is.
Are the statues of limitation up or not? Because I don't know how honest I can be right now.
Oh my gosh.
But no, like in 6th grade, I started, I fell in love with like Michael Jackson's music, and, you know, and I started breakdancing because that was big back then.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, when you were born, I was graduating from college. So I come from a different,
fair enough.
I could be your dad right now. But I was into breakdancing, and we would, you know, what I would do is in 6th grade, I would take the bus from Granville to Wyoming to meet with my crew.
Hey.
Yeah, and we would dance, we'd practice, and we'd go through the old appliance stores, trash to get these refrigerator cardboard boxes, and we go up to Studio 28 and
Oh my gosh,
like
Studio
midnight movies. Oh my gosh, we go out there with a ghetto blaster and just start dancing. We put out a hat and we make $10 or whatever, and we just felt great about it. But yeah, so I've been through a lot, and during that time, I did some stupid stuff. Everyone was smoking weed back then, and so I would do that, and everyone was drinking, so I'd do that, and I just want my girls to not have to experience that and make the mistakes that I did. Not that I didn't, I didn't kill anybody. I didn't, make any, just it wasn't like that. It was just too early.
Yeah.
Too early.
Okay. Interesting.
And so I want them to be able to control their vices, maybe. I don't know, whether it's, drinking, smoking, whatever kids do nowadays, but they're doing it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I just want them to know that, they can wait.
Yeah.
They can wait on, having that boyfriend that's exclusive, because then you get into trouble there. They don't have to have that pressure. And no matter what, if they got pressure from their friends, they're going to have the opposite pressure coming from, and I'm hoping that it's coming from within, with what I teach them, coming from within, and just like a shield that breaks that off.
Yeah.
And it's a constant battle. I mean, girls, Mean Girls, that movie, that
part,
they just like,
dude,
it's crazy.
Thing that's a thing.
It is a thing.
That blows my mind. Like when I learned about like this bullying, like that happens, like you're talking all this stuff and you're making up stories, and your friends one day, but the next day I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, yeah. You're closer to it than me, obviously. I mean, your girls are up there, and I'm thinking my kids are still, first grade. I'm thinking of like, they gotta go to this. That's terrifying, man. That is terrifying. It is. When you think about it, I think that's when you have to sit back and rely on, now, and when I say sit back, I mean like for the most part, right? Because obviously you still have to be very active, be very present, but like sit back and rely on your parenting skills and say, look, I've taught you this. This is how you respond to people. Like for me, one of the biggest things is making sure that my daughters know you treat everybody with love. You treat everybody with care and love. It's a big deal, because
absolutely,
regardless of the absence of kindness or reciprocity, like people giving it back to you is not your reason for being nice. Because at the end of the day, you could be nice to this person and they could hate on you and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But guess what? The character of that person is the character of that person, and you don't let that affect you. And in other realms, you could be, kind to this person, and because of your kindness, that person looks at you in a different light, or in this light that allows them to think about things differently. At the end of the day, if we had more of that, we'd be so good, right? I mean, so when you think about, the things that we're teaching our kids, we're giving them knowledge. What do you think that is something that you've learned since becoming a dad? Like something that has affected your character that you may not have ever gotten to, if not because of being a dad. Like I told you last year, I learned, I get my divorce, got finalized. I the counseling, the this and that. Like I got to the point where I allowed myself, and this is probably taboo in the man world, but I allowed myself to start crying, to start feeling what I'm feeling, and I'll actually like get those emotions out so that I can process and function naturally. Because otherwise, all I did was keep all that stuff in, and then I would blow up and be like, what was that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so what is something that you feel like you've now gotten to since becoming a dad that you just may have never even had an opportunity to get to?
I've come to grips that, when my girls entered the world, I became not as important as I thought I was.
Oh, wow.
Meaning,
Okay.
meaning it's not about me. It's not about my want. It's not about me being comfortable. It's about me making them comfortable.
Mm,
And when I embraced it, and when I just said, you know what, it's not about me anymore. I mean, I've lived my life. I've been coddled or whatever when I was young, but now it's their turn,
yeah.
and I need to really sacrifice for them. So I made a lot of sacrifices,
Yeah.
business wise, social wise. Um, I've got them, half time. And so when I have them, I'm full on.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to work. I mean, sometimes I have to take calls or take a Zoom call or whatever.
Right.
But I'm full on with work when I'm not with them, and then when I'm with them, I'm full on with them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, they're the ones that matter, because, like I said, the time is limited, and you snap your fingers, and that time is gone.
Yeah.
So for me, got a lot of things I'm juggling. Work, kids, dating life,
Yeah.
which is, dude, I'm 50 years old. I'm a single dad. I got my kids half time,
Yeah.
and I'm, the first question I ask a prospective girl that I'm, looking to go out with is like, all right, what's your parenting schedule? I need to know this, because
So true. Dude,
I'm serious.
I was having that conversation with my girlfriend. It's like, this is 30. Like your schedule is contingent on your your
Like,
projection schedule.
so what's your parenting schedule?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah. That's funny, man. But so
And if we're on the opposite weekends, it's over. Dead on arrival. Because that does not work.
yeah, that's so true. Oh my gosh. That is so true.
It's true. I could do a whole podcast on dating at a single dad at 50. And,
yeah. Hey, I mean,
I don't look my age.
no, you do not, brother. I gotta tell you.
Like, I'm in shape. I'm healthy.
Yeah.
I have my hair. I'm like,
yeah.
It's just the 25-year-olds still like me, and the 55-year-olds like me. Do you know that spread? That spread is like, it's like, what are you talking about? With the younger girls, the first thing I ask is, how old is your dad? Because if I'm older than him, we ain't going out.
I'm laughing. Look, dude, I'm laughing because when I first got back on the dating scene, it was the same thing. It's like, Jesus, I don't know if what I'm gonna talk to you about. Like, oh, that's hilarious, man.
It was, I mean, and
how old's your dad?
I don't know. That's probably like, people are like, oh, Bryce goes out with young girls. I don't know. It's not that I, make out with them or take them home or whatever. It's just, I'm fascinated. I'm like, you're beautiful and you're 27 years old and you want to go out with me? I want to know these things. I want to know, because I might be writing a book someday. It's like,
right. No, I feel you there.
I just need to, I mean, why?
Why?
And so, but yeah, it's it's that whole dating. We could do a whole podcast on dating and all that.
We might have to.
I've got horror stories, man, and I got some great stories.
Brother, we might have to, because there's been some Jesus.
Yeah, but I found out, through all my dating, it's got to be someone that I was telling someone this morning. It's got to be someone that I can't live without.
Yeah.
Because if I can live without her, then she's probably not the one.
There you go.
There
you go.
Because I mean, at my age, I have to, I've got a lot to consider. I've got my girls to consider. I've got, you know, just a lot of things, um, but I'm looking for that certain person. And everyone's like, why are you single? You're still single. And I'm like, um, I don't need a woman to
Yes.
like, I don't, I, I'm me. I got me, you
Mhm.
know, and not that I'm anything special, but I've come to grips with who I am. I've come to grips with, what I want in life.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I have an inkling to say, you know what, maybe I should settle because I'm insecure about being alone, I will settle with this girl.
Mhm.
That's a recipe for disaster. I'm
Yeah.
not going to settle.
Yeah.
That's
And,
why she's got to be one that I cannot live without.
yeah. And but even to what you just said there just now, it's like, but you are special though. Like you are worth all that you're worth. So like to get to the point where you go, I'm solid with who I am as a person, and so I know exactly what I'm looking for. That
Right.
doesn't mean that I'm not looking for anyone to change. I'm not looking for anyone to be anything that they're not. I'm looking for this, and if you fit this, then we'll work out.
Right.
It's I mean, and point blank, you get to honestly, you get to a certain age and you go, hey man, I don't have time for games. I,
No games.
I'm not, you know, oh my gosh.
So I
So,
went on a date with a younger girl. I won't tell you her age, but you know, we're sitting there having dinner and she's like, I have to confront you about something. I'm like, what? She's
uh,
like, I'm really uncomfortable with some of the women that are liking your posts. I'm like,
oh Lord.
check please.
Oh Lord,
If that bothers you, dude, I'm like,
you got the insecure girl. That's what
yeah,
it is.
you got some things going on that I cannot cure.
Yeah, yeah. That's but that's real though. That's those are the things you look out, you go, you know, if I'm talking to you and you're, oh, let me get this moment. Let me lock this moment. We're talking. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, that's solid, man. So I guess, you know, with this, and I can't believe it's already time has flown through. With this, what do you, you know, talk to you right now? Talk to you. Like you're a well-established man, you got two beautiful daughters, you know, you're in the dating scene. What advice would you give to yourself as far as like, you know, you got to the point where now you might be struggling. You might be thinking to yourself like, man, this is getting hard. You know, there's somebody out there like you right now who's like, yo, I'm at the point where I'm just done. What advice would you give them?
Well, and I had the same conversation with someone yesterday, so it's really fresh in my mind. But
Mhm.
um, back when I was in real estate development and doing property big time, it started in like 2005 is when I started developing, and then 2006 was a great year. 2007 kind of slowed up. 2008 and 9 hit, and that's when the lights in real estate were turned off.
Oh wow.
That's when my wife back then was pregnant with our first child. And I said, I was talking to this one of my clients, and she said, yeah, I have to close up my business because of COVID. And, I'm down 55%, and, people don't want to come in and all that. And, I was like, you know what, look, it can be worse. It can always be worse.
Oh,
And we look at it and go, woe is me, pity me, woe is me. It can always be worse. And thank God. I mean, like, what if you had it all? What if you had it all um, like, like Peter Secchia just passed away.
yeah.
That I love Peter. He was awesome. He's got every, you know, money, everything. He's got buildings named after him, but he couldn't fight off the Reaper.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do we have?
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, what do we have?
Yeah.
Not much, but the time that we're given, we need to really maximize it,
Facts.
because time is the most important thing in the world,
Yeah.
you know,
I love it.
because father time is undefeated. He's going to get us all. It can be worse. You could get that cancer, you know,
Oh,
um, prognosis, or I forget the word, but doctor could say, you know, you have cancer and you've got 10 days to live or whatever. It's like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that, it couldn't be worse. At least you have your health. At least you have your life. At least you have another day to wake up and see the sun come up and, you know, tackle that, because it all stems from within you. And it's all part of your mental, you know, how you process things mentally.
Yeah.
And your mind is a very powerful thing. I mean, to someone today could have been a terrible day,
Yeah.
and to another person it could be a wonderful day.
Best day ever.
You know,
Yeah.
what is it? It's mindset. It's how you look at things. It's how it's what you hold dear. It's, you know, it's what you're doing as a person. And I think, yeah, I have bad moments. I had a bad moment last night. I had, you know, I, you know, dated a girl pretty seriously, and, you know, another one of the people that knew it just texted me late last night and said some pretty bad things about her. And, you know, it just kind of brought me back. And I just like, oh, you know, I don't want to, you know, so I have my moments and I'm not perfect by any means, but, you know, this morning I woke up, I did my thing, you know, made my bed, made my coffee,
Yep.
two very important things,
Yeah.
and just got after it. And today was a very productive day. And, you know, it's just every day is a gift.
Yeah. Treat it
What are you
like
gonna
that.
do with it?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna open that gift?
Hey, I love
Huh?
it, man. For real though. For real.
You
What,
gonna
what is,
destroy that gift? What are you
what-
gonna do? It's all up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the old saying? What do you think you're right or you think you're wrong? You're right. Is that how it goes? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm with it, man.
If my daughters say to me, "Oh, I can't do it," I said, "Then you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
There's no other way about it. Then you can't do it."
Yeah.
But I've seen you tie your shoes before. I've
Yeah.
seen you get out a knot like that, a double knot. I've seen you do it, and I know you can do it. You just have to apply yourself.
Yeah.
Sure enough, 10 seconds later, she's got it out.
Got it out.
Don't say you can't.
That's solid, man. That's solid. I think that's perfect. Dude, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to do this, man. I know you're busy. I know you got stuff going on, but
Yeah, it's fun.
yeah, man, I appreciate it. I really think this, you know, this is gonna help somebody, and I think that's the biggest part. Like, we have the opportunity to just talk to guys who are normal people doing the same thing we're doing, learning the same way we're learning, going through our experiences, and we just get to give them a little bit of information that may, you know, even just that little speech at the end, you sharing, might be the thing that helps, you know, Bryce in Connecticut or Bryce in Germany or wherever get to the next step in his day.
Right.
So I appreciate you for that, brother.
It's about being strong, and it's about, you know, a daily journey of trying to get better. And, you know, it's hard. It's not easy,
Yeah.
but that's the way you got to do it. And you train yourself to do it, and you're on the path.
That's the way. All right, brother. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to your night, man. And I can't thank you enough again, man. I really appreciate you. We'll have to get up, man. Hopefully summer hits. Maybe we can get on the course. I don't know if you still golfing or not, but we can get
yeah.
get it done. Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's go.
Golf is a good teacher of what you have going on in your mind too. I've
go.
seen that. It's good.
I love it. All right, man. Well, I'll let you get back to your evening, and I appreciate you, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, boss.